Experts from both Burleigh and Morton County Extension Service offices. Extension Connection provides advice on family nutrition, issues in agriculture, lawn and garden, community leadership, homeowner concerns, and so much more. Live from the SuperTalk 1270 studio, this is Extension Connection.
All right, welcome back. We are Extension Connection. This is the Morton County office this week, and we've all been running around everywhere, but we're finally back. We had conference last week, so it's kind of like being home again.
Yeah, kind of settling in.
Yeah, we have
again.
almost everybody.
Yep.
So I thought we can start by sharing a little bit about what we're each going to cover throughout the hour, and then we can get started. So this week I'm going to talk a little bit about getting ready for the holidays. I know Halloween just finished literally yesterday. I'm sorry, everyone. But
so how many shopping days till Christmas?
I didn't count
There's only
that
like
out.
6 Fridays.
Yeah, I was going to say
Six or
6 or 7 weeks.
Oh,
Okay.
55, Jim
shopping
says.
days. There you go.
Oh, my.
The
Okay,
countdown is on.
Everybody's blood pressure just
Yeah.
rose 3 points.
I know. So I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of how to get through the holidays without the headache and how to prepare for it, especially with kids in the household, that kind of thing. So how about you, Vanessa?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about pumpkin and squash. Great time of year to be using them. And so I have some great tips to incorporate more pumpkin and why you should incorporate more pumpkin into your diet. And hopefully you have some pumpkins around, maybe some that didn't get carved yet and that kind of thing. I'm also going to talk about our Design Your Succession Plan program that's coming up and why farmers and ranchers might want to consider attending that with some of their family members. And then I'm also going to talk about that currently we're in an open enrollment period for Medicare Part D. And if you're unsure about what Part D is, it has to do, the D stands for drugs. And so it is your coverage of any of your prescription drugs that you may need to take for anybody who's on Medicare. And so we'll talk about some ways that you can get help during this enrollment period. And Karla, what are you talking about?
I have got a few events that are actually coming up. This is kind of the quiet time of year for 4-H, and we're just setting up some programs here that will begin in January. So it's not too early to really start thinking and start planning for different events here coming up beginning in January. And then there's some volunteer trainings that are fast approaching. They actually start next week. And then there's an event called Civic U. That will be held at North Dakota 4-H Camp. And I touched base on this the last time we were on the radio, but I just wanted to touch base on it again. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about the Center for Community Vitality and some programs that they have available that folks might be interested in your communities. And so that's what I have.
Sounds great. Great variety of things today.
I know.
Something for everybody.
Something for everybody, exactly. Well, like I said, we have some tips for kind of going into the holidays without the headache, hopefully. A lot of times the headache comes not only with the stress of the season, but also the financial stress and gift buying and giving and what to get everybody, all that kind of stuff. So the first tip really is about planning ahead, hence why we're talking about it today, the day after Halloween. So try to have a strategy ready. Hopefully you can create an overall holiday spending limit. So that would be, we're not just talking about gifts, but it's all the other stuff that happens or comes up in the holidays. So putting on a Christmas party, extra little fun dates with people or coffee dates or whatever it might be. There's just kind of more things going on through the holidays, which is exciting, but also you can hit those dollar limits faster than you realize.
And sometimes it could be if you have children in school, it might be that you have to bring treats for something, or you have to bring snacks for something, or
exactly.
Other parties that you need to bring things to that are just those extra things you don't normally have to think about.
Yep, exactly. So when you're thinking about your spending limit, make sure you include all of those things, not just the gifts that you'll be wrapping and giving to your family or whatever.
And maybe even a little miscellaneous for those things that pop up.
Slush fund there, right? You forgot the one teacher or the librarian at the school you wanted to give a gift to or something like that. So I think maybe in a couple weeks, Vanessa is going to talk more specifically about how to do a budget for the holiday season. But you want to start by at least having kind of that spending limit and what you're going to go with that. So then after that, making a list of people you need to buy things for. So family, friends, your kids' teachers, whoever else you're going to, the mail carrier, if those are things that you do each year, make sure you don't forget anybody. And now is a good time to start so that over a week or two, if you forgot somebody, you can put them on your list still. And then go over your list with maybe a spouse or a friend or somebody that you can kind of trust to make sure you don't forget somebody, right? Because that's the last minute, oh, man, I forgot this, and add something and throws off your budget.
Yeah, and it helps to start early with that list because that way, as you encounter people, it can jog your memory, and it's like, oh yeah, I wanted to remember them.
Exactly. And then we want to start early also because then you can prevent some of those impulsive purchases. So one of the tips they give is that first time you go shopping, at least the first time, if not every time, don't bring a credit card. So that, because sometimes you might come across an item that's outside your budget and you think, well, instead of just buying it, I'll just put it on the credit card, and then that's how you end up racking up some of those extra dollar amounts. So you'll be less likely to overspend from your budget if you know that temptation of credit cards is not there. Also, if you have a favorite website or you get online to kind of do some comparison shopping, sometimes it's as simple as you can buy something cheaper Walmart or Target online versus in store, or you can kind of find some coupons, that kind of stuff. Again, if you start now thinking about it, you can kind of comparison shop in the next couple months, and you have plenty of time. And remember, along with that, to be careful and cautious. There's a lot of the stores you're going to go into are going to offer you their store credit cards. So I know we've been talking about credit scores and all of that kind of stuff in the past.
Right. And every time you sign up for another card, it does affect your credit score.
Yes.
And so if you're trying to build it up, that's one way that you can really keep your score at least at the level it is, or maybe increase it if you can go for a year or that time frame without adding that other credit card.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I worked retail for a really long time. There are good people in those stores that can talk you into it. So their best advice to you is no.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those credit cards from the individual stores have a higher annual percentage rate on them also, which means that if you don't pay it off in that first month when you get that bill, you're going to be paying more than you would on maybe your other more generic Visa or
base,
kind of base credit cards.
Yes, exactly. So again, being not only the impulse purchases, but the impulse credit card signups and
and the other thing I was going to say too, with doing some of that ahead of time and searching online and trying to find the deal, the other thing you can do is begin making that list with the best price you've seen so far, so that as sales come out, you can reflect and say, okay, is that really better than what I saw it at before?
Yeah.
Or especially when we have those big sale days, Black Friday, those kinds of things, or even the is it the Monday after Black Friday when it's
Cyber Monday?
Cyber Monday,
yeah.
So looking at those kind of times, are you really getting a better bargain than you could have gotten if you walked in a store here in town?
Yes, exactly. So those are only a couple of the tips. When we come back from break, we'll talk about a few more. We'll be right back with Extension Connection.
Right now, 34.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. SuperTalk1270.com.
All right, we are back with Extension Connection, and before the break we were talking about how to get through the holidays without the headache and talk some about avoiding those extra credit cards and things like that. Another tip on the list is to get the easy gifts out of the way first. So the ones that you've known forever you were going to get them, or you knew you got a good deal or whatever it is, kind of get those out of the way first, so then you don't have to worry about all of them at once. And then that can also help with your month-to-month budget. If you're starting this week, you still have how many paychecks before you're done shopping?
And I would say even get them wrapped.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
Because
You
if
know.
you're like me, then you won't change your mind a dozen times and think, I got to return this. Now it's wrapped, it's underneath the tree, or it's in a box and it's ready to go.
Yep.
And you don't have
Yep.
that temptation.
You know, then you also don't have to worry so much about hiding things. As if they're wrapped, you can kind of put them
Leave
in a
'em
box
out and-
well, not even leave them out, but even that way, if they're in a closet, they're still kind of doubly hidden.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, right? And then it reminds everybody else in the family to get shopping too, right?
Yeah.
There,
See?
here they are. Christmas
And then
is
attach your
coming.
list to it. No, I'm
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. You've stumbled across my list. Oh man. Like we mentioned in the beginning, saving on other holiday entertainment. So besides gifts, you're going on maybe special holiday movies that are coming out in the theaters. Doing little things like sharing rides. Planning a potluck versus inviting everyone over and feeling like you need to provide the whole meal. You can do a potluck. Choose, the holiday menus at restaurants also change. So make sure you're kind of reading right to left. So the price also versus just what you want to eat. And then instead of going out for lunch or dinner with family or friends, try doing a coffee date or something that's going to be far less expensive than those full meals. So one other issue parents tend to run into is that sometimes kids have their top items that they want, and then you can't afford maybe the name brand version of it, and then the kids unwrap it and there's just total disappointment, right? So starting early on in your kids' lives of a tradition, maybe everyone gets 3 things, or you get one big thing and some things in the stocking or something like that. I saw one example, somebody that was kind of a Christian-based household, they decided to do 3 gifts because that's what Jesus received. So they kind of had it based off something, and everybody gets those 3 gifts, or whatever
car
it is. A car.
and-
Yeah, a car. 3 reasonable gifts, right? But having kids even now, because the magazines and everything they see on TV, all the advertisements are going to get pretty ridiculous here pretty shortly. So helping your kids have realistic expectations now, so that Christmas morning isn't a total letdown for everybody.
I've heard, that, there's I don't know where I read this at, but I know I did. But there's the rule of 3, where it's something you want, something you need, and then something to read. So I've heard of that before too. So that's pretty neat, because
that's
you
a
can
really good idea.
reinforce that whole reading.
Yeah, and when my kids were younger, that was always fun. Both of them always got a book at Christmas.
Yes.
And sometimes it was a Christmas themed book, and sometimes it was just another book.
Yep.
But it's fun. Then you can also write in it, Christmas 2017 or whatever, and make a little note from mom and dad in there.
Those are neat too to keep around. Yeah.
Exactly. So lots of ways to kind of have kids get prepared for the holidays as well, because they get we all get wrapped up in the excitement of it.
Oh, that was cute.
Wrapped
up.
Oh, no. Pun intended. Oh, man. And with that, you can kind of help kids refocus again and remember what the holidays are about. And maybe part of your tradition is something they get as a gift is actually something they're going to give on to somebody else. Or you start having a tradition of volunteering or something like that. So then kids kind of are reminded of what they actually need versus want. There's a lot of opportunities for life lessons, we'll call them,
That's exactly
during
right.
this season. So I probably will post some on the Facebook page, because I have a whole list of ideas for shopping for kids that are not just toys or items. So how do you, some other non-toy gift ideas for kids. But so I'll post some of that on Facebook. So Karla.
Okay. Well, I was sitting on my computer Monday and trying to figure out what to write, of course, for our weekly news column that we have here in the local papers. And something that's really, I know I've had a lot of questions about in the office is our shooting sports program. And Morton County has a history of a really successful shooting sports program. We have kids that are very dedicated within the community. And so I thought I'd put it out there. Like I said before in the intro, it's never too early to start thinking about, planning your winter and getting things on the calendar. So the Morton County 4-H Shooting Sports Program, you think shooting sports, you don't always think about 4-H. And so it is one of those non-traditional programs that 4-H does have, but we're hearing a lot more about it. And so the 4-H Shootings Program is really to help youth to develop life skills as well as safely use firearms, whether it be archery or a shotgun or a small bore rifle. We use shooting activities as a vehicle to teach teamwork, cooperation, and responsibility. In 2017, so this year, Morton County 4-H archery team represented North Dakota at the National 4-H Shooting Sports Championships held in Grand Island, Nebraska in June. We placed 3rd overall. We brought back a national champion in Braden House, and the 4-H hunting skills team, which was the inaugural team here from North Dakota, placed 6th overall. So again, a lot of success with that program and a lot of really great kids. And I can't forget the instructors that help with that program as well, because without their dedication week after week and putting in extra time to get things ready for kids, we wouldn't have the program that we do. So with that, the archery program will hold workouts beginning Monday, January 8th at NDSU Bowman. We do have equipment available for archers during workouts. You are welcome to bring your own bows as well. We will take a look at those bows just to make sure that the strings are all in good repair and, that kind of stuff, just for the safety side of it. We do have certified instructors through the NDSU Extension Service Shooting Sports Program. And there is a fee to participate because, of course, we have to help cover the cost of insurance and targets. And we have bows and arrows and maintenance on those items. And then we also have quite the collection of 3D targets, which I'm proud to say that we have in our county. And so
looks like a forest in our
It
storage
does.
area sometimes.
we have a big trailer. Yeah.
And for people who don't know what 3D targets are,
Yes.
they're actually they're
Very
made to
lifelike.
look like
Yeah.
the animal.
Yeah.
So it's like life size,
Yeah.
life color.
I guess my cobra, though, he's a little bigger than your average cobra, but he's about
and
4
our
feet
dinosaur
tall.
is a little bit
Yeah.
smaller than the average dinosaur.
Exactly.
But, or at least so
But
scientists
the
think.
deer and others are
They're pretty close.
pretty
Yeah.
average.
Yep.
Yeah.
So some
You
of them
got
have really nice
skunk.
racks. Yeah,
Skunk
and
Lots of fun things.
I have a squirrel in Tim's office right now, so he's in there. So anyway, so we try really hard to keep the interest of kids, and really those 3D targets provide that opportunity, because then we're not just shooting at paper targets every week. We have something else that they can really master their skills on, and perhaps it's something that they will take with them as they get older. They will decide that, what, archery hunting is really for me, or this is a really great family outing to do. We have one family in the county where mom, dad, and the 2 girls have bows, and they like to spend time together, and that's one of their family activities. So archery is open to all youth ages 8 through 18 as of January 1st, 2018. And then
So what if I have a 7-year-old?
If you have a 7-year-old, they have to turn 8 by January 1st. And the reason is because we have worked out our insurance and our risk management plan through NDSU, and they agreed to cover youth ages 8 and older. Yeah. And that's a development thing, really. When we're talking about bows, it's not always easy to pull that string back. Yeah. So at 8, they're pretty good at using the mini Genesis bows we have. So that's all just, it's development.
And it really is, because there are some 7-year-olds that may have the strength, but they still don't have the responsibility, the other things that go along with it yet.
Yep. So, and the second event that we're going to work on this year is the small bore rifle program. So this is 22. We're actually collaborating with the Bismarck Mandan Rifle and Pistol Association Junior Marksmanship Program and their certified NRA instructors. So I'm pretty excited about this. If you're interested in the small bore rifle program, their first workout will be December 7th at the Johnson Family Marksmanship Center, and that's located over in Bismarck on Skyway Drive. I didn't put Drive, Avenue, Lane, whatever, but it's on Skyway. If you want their exact directions, I can give them to you. But the small bore rifle program for 4-H is open for ages 11 and older as of September 1st. 4-H shooting sports actually provides a lot of opportunities for you to not only do some workouts at a local level and learn some skills, but really utilize those skills in a tournament setting, and you get to meet some other kids from across the state. And so the first tournament is scheduled for January 27th over at NDSU Bowman, and we're excited to host the first archery event of the year. And so that'll be at NDSU Bowman on the 27th. And, watch the paper. We'll provide a few more details on that. And, of course, participants in the 4-H shooting sports program are enrolled members of 4-H, and that's just to ensure that we have you covered as far as insurance and liability. So with that, we're going to go to break. We'll be back with the Extension Connection.
Right now, 34.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on SuperTalk 1270.
And welcome back to the Extension Connection. Again, this is the Morton County staff here with you today. And before the break, we are finishing up here visiting about shooting sports program. And the next thing I had to visit about is Civic U. And Civic U is a program, it's pretty new to 4-H here in North Dakota. And it's really all about running 4-H meetings and understanding and practice parliamentary procedure. Last year, I guess the kids really had a blast. And it was held up at North Dakota 4-H camp, and it will be held November 10th. And so the schools do not, are in session that day because of the holiday, Veterans Holiday on Saturday, the November 11th, or you'll probably be at the football championships in Fargo. But if you're not and you're interested in a team, Civic U really focuses again on parliamentary procedure and leadership development for youth in grades 6 through 8.
And if folks aren't familiar with parliamentary procedure, it's the basics in running a meeting. And I think there's so many adults out there that I think if they're asked to be president or asked to run a meeting, kind of
hesitant.
their face goes white and they haven't had an opportunity to learn those skills. And it's not difficult. It's just something that unless you have learned it. And so it's so great to have kids be able to learn that early on and get some confidence in being able to run a meeting so that when they're adults, they can become, great parts of their community.
Right. And I've had the honor, I guess, of sitting through some FFA competitions where they do parliamentary procedure and talk about impressive. We're talking about sophomores, juniors, and seniors that are running a meeting and how it flows. I mean, you can take a normal meeting that we would really have an hour for, and those young people can get that meeting done in 20 minutes because they're very on point. They keep to, the agenda, and they make arguments where they need to and everything. And it's just a really neat process to see. And, if you have the chance ever to see an FFA group with a parliamentary procedure, I encourage you to do so because it's quite impressive.
Yeah.
So, but this here is a team event. Each team consists of 5 members. And so the winning team will receive a large gavel traveling trophy. And when I mean a large gavel traveling trophy, it's like 2 feet long. So it's rather large, just like it says. The registration fee is $50 a team and includes a T-shirt and lunch. And youth must be on a team to register. So if you're interested in something like this, please contact the Extension office and we can get you some additional information. Currently, we do not have a team in Morton County. And if we do have a team, I'm going to have to talk someone else into taking you up there because I will be in Fargo for a foundation meeting. But that's all good. We'll figure it out. Volunteer trainings are fast approaching as well. And I touched base again on this the last time on the radio, but we are, the places you'll go is the theme. And there is volunteer trainings coming up in Emmons County and Linton, November 6th. We'll be up in Williston, November 7th. And then we'll be down Regent.
Yep.
Totally blanking. All I can think of is Enchanted Castle. Monday, November 27th. Benson County, Tuesday, November 28th, and then Lemoore on Thursday, November 30th. Each location will have different workshops. Hippology, where do I begin? So the study of horses. Consumer choices, which I know is near and dear to Vanessa's heart. It's an awesome program you can learn more about. Teaching 4-H science through Rube Goldberg machines, and we had a session on that last week at Fall Conference. That's pretty cool, and you're going to learn more about that because we're going to do this in Morton County. It's creating a complex machine to do a simple task. So a lot of information, and I'll get that out.
So a lot of that STEM programming.
Yes.
Science, technology.
Yeah. Engineering. It's like the best ever. If you ever get a chance, go to YouTube and click in Rube Goldberg. There's some cool stuff that pops up. And there's a Domino's commercial that is all about the Rube Goldberg complex. It's in a circle and the car drives forward and the pizza cutters roll down the little ramp. It's actually all Rube Goldberg. It's pretty cool. And then we're going to do outdoor skills and natural resources, and then take 10 for citizenship. And if you have any questions about those programs, really give us a call at the Extension office. 667-3340. And I just touch base here on something we really don't talk a lot about in Extension. I'm here locally, but we have what they call a Center for Community Vitality. And there's a lot of different things that they have for programming, communication, community marketing, facility workshops, Real Colors, Rural Leadership North Dakota program. There's a lot of different areas that the Center for Community Vitality actually covers. And I was just going to touch base on a couple of them. They have the Inspiring Leaders program, and that is a Rural Leadership North Dakota, or Lead Local, which is a one-day training for aspiring elected and appointed leaders serving on boards, councils, and committees. And it really is about networking with your community and doing good things within your community, running successful boards and councils.
It's kind of training that next generation of folks to
Yes.
step forward and take those leadership roles in your community.
Yep. There's also Building Tomorrow's Leaders. That's a comprehensive program for high school students that aims to empower them to get involved, build confidence within themselves, and strengthen their skills to lead others and assist them in developing networks. And so those are two of the leader programs. Then there's some enhancing community programs that there's also offered. Marketing Hometown America. We've learned about this a lot. I know they did a program up in the northeast part of town, or of the state, not town, a community studies circle process to better understand community assets and what residents are looking for as they relocate to a rural community. So really, what do you have to offer, and really identifying those assets within your community. And that's Marketing Hometown America. And then there's also Community Impressions, and this is a program to help communities learn about existing strengths and challenges through the eyes of a first-time visitor. So really, embracing those new folks within your community, learning, what they see as great things, and also things that they want to see developed. Perhaps they came from a town that had a walking trail, and, this would be really beneficial because, and that's all kinds of things that are identified through the Community Impressions program. And if you want more information on the Center for Community Vitality, I think it's just a really great, and we don't talk about it enough, area of extension. You can contact the local county extension office. Again, call us in Morton County, 667-3340, and we can touch base with you and let you know about all those great opportunities.
Yeah.
So that is what I have. So
Okay.
Vanessa.
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about this is, and you might be seeing this in the news, but right now we are in the middle of Medicare open enrollment time period. And so if you are currently on Medicare, you already may be on a prescription drug plan, which is also known as Medicare Part D. And so the D stands for drugs. That's a good way to remember it. And Medicare Part D is a voluntary prescription drug benefit offered by private companies that are approved by Medicare. And so when I talk about open enrollment, what that means is open enrollment is happening right now, and it's between the dates of October 15th through December 7th. And during this open enrollment time, you have an opportunity, if you are currently signed up for a Part D plan, you have an opportunity to sign up for a new plan, or to stick with the plan you had already. Now, you might want to ask, well, other insurances I usually don't change from year to year. Why would I want to change this one? Well, the one thing I can tell you is that from year to year, especially Part D plans change dramatically because their lists of particular prescriptions that they cover change, which means that your out-of-pocket expenses change dramatically. Sometimes they also change the premium cost. They can also change the amount of deductible that they have offering with each plan. And so it is really important to at least take a look at that and decide if you want to stay in the plan you have or enroll in a new plan. And so I am going to be holding some sessions, individual sessions, to help you with this process if you would like. And so if you are interested in coming in and going through this process to look at your options, I have 2 days that I'll be doing this, November 17th and November 30th. If you would like to make an appointment, and it's going to be by appointment only, just because I want to make sure that we don't have lots of people waiting. So call in to our office at 667-3340, and you can make an appointment with our staff. A couple things that you need to bring along. You will need to bring your Medicare card with you. You'll also need to bring your list of prescription drugs that you're currently taking so that we can get the correct ones put into the list. And then also, if you have gone in and gone to an enrollment open enrollment session such as this, like last year, you were probably given a gold or yellow card, and on that card has a number identifying your list of prescription drugs. So if you have that will make our process when you come in much quicker, because I won't have to enter in all the drugs that you had already in there. We would just need to go through and delete ones you're no longer taking, and perhaps add anything that changed over the last year. I did have an opportunity to help out with the open enrollment session yesterday in Bismarck, and it was really amazing. It's amazing to see the changes. I mean, as I helped folks, it ranged from some folks I saved them $600, an individual over $600. Some I saved over $5,000.
Wow.
And this is just over 1 year for one individual. And so in some cases, it was a couple that would come in, and maybe between the two of them, it was, in the thousands that we saved. And then it also helps us to look at the different pharmacies that we're using, and you can do some comparing. I know a lot of times we have relationships with our pharmacies, and that is good. It's good to have that relationship. But I also think information is powerful, and it's important to recognize how much you're paying for that individual relationship and whether you want to change pharmacies based on what the cost was. There was one individual that they had the current pharmacy they were using was for using rough figures was, for example, over the year it was going to cost them $1,300. If they used a different pharmacy within the same community, it was going to cost them half that.
Wow, that's big.
So, I mean, it's really worth looking at, and especially things are changing. It may have been a great plan last year for you, but it might not be the best plan this year, so that's why you really need to look at changing. And so, again, give us a call at 667-3340. You need an appointment in order to be able to take advantage of my help session. So with that, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be back with the Extension Connection.
Right now, 35.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. SuperTalk 1270.
And we're back with the Extension Connection. This is the Morton County office. This is Vanessa Hoines, Extension Agent for Morton County. So we're in our last segment here, and I had talked a little bit about that we were going to mention and talk about the Design Your Succession Plan program coming up. And we recently surveyed a group of farmers and ranchers and asked if they had worked on a succession plan for their business. And one of the respondents said, "I think I need a kick in the pants." And I think he probably is not alone. Most farm and ranch owners know the importance of putting together a plan for the next generation. However, the vast majority of North Dakota farms and ranches do not have a succession plan in place. Now, you might ask why. Some of the answers that we've heard, it's too complicated, or we don't know where to start, or we don't know who to turn to for help, or we fear that it will create family conflict, or we're not sure what we really want for the future of our business, or we don't like to face our own mortality or our parents' mortality. Or the last one, I've just been too busy with other things. And I think all those reasons are things that many of us have probably thought about, whether it's a succession plan, whether it's a will, any of those things where we're planning for the time when we're no longer here. It's a difficult question. But whatever your reason for considering for not having a succession plan in place, we do have a solution. Consider attending one of our NDSU Extension Design Your Succession Plan workshops that are going to be held this fall and winter. We're going to be starting here in November, and many of them go even into January. We're going to be offering many tools that can be used to transfer your business assets. We have to begin by knowing what you want to accomplish through this transfer, and it is a help. It's help to get that successor started. Is that one of the goals that you have? So you have to think about what your focus is. Is your focus perhaps to generate funds for retirement? Or are you really focusing on minimizing taxes? Or is it to provide for your heirs? Most often, it's a combination of all of these tools that we use in the transition plan. So knowing where you want to go also means determining what getting there will take. So make a commitment to yourself and your family to start a succession plan for your farm or ranch this year. A succession plan in place can be a weight off your shoulders. It's something you don't have to worry about anymore. If you're interested in signing up for a Design Your Succession Plan workshop, you can sure call our office at 667-3340, or you can go online at www.ag.ndsu.edu/succession. And there you're going to find some succession planning e-tips that you can sign up for that can give you some helps along the way. You can kind of read some short snippets of things to consider as you begin this process. And you'll also find the dates and places that the workshops are going to be held and how to register. I'm going to tell you a few of the places across the state where we do have classes that are being planned for November into January. I'm not going to give you all the dates, but I'm going to give you the places. So if you have family that are close to those areas and you'd like to attend, then you can call the local extension office there. First of all, our Mandan site, we're going to be holding them on Tuesday evenings, November 21st, 28th, and December 5th. And all of those evenings will begin at 6 o'clock. And it is a 3-night series for us. And we will be providing a meal as you get there, so that will help with the timing with that. If you are interested, please call our office at 667-3340. And again, you can also find more information online. Now, some of the other cities that are going to be holding the Design Your Succession Plan workshops are Hope, North Dakota, Watford City, Langdon, Belfield, Linton, Towner, Jamestown, and Lemoore. And so they are kind of spread across all of North Dakota. If you're in a place where you didn't hear something local, you can sure contact your local extension office and ask some questions about whether they have one in the works, if they're planning one, because we still may be adding to this list. Or perhaps you can get some information about doing some things on your own, or perhaps you can also give them kind of plant the seed that maybe you're interested in this workshop being held in your local area. So again, if you're looking for one here close to Mandan, ours will be starting November 21st and will be held on 3 consecutive Tuesday nights. And we look forward to you signing up and give us a call. Okay. The other thing I wanted to chat a little bit about, we just finished Halloween last night. And so you probably have some pumpkins lying around. And perhaps you even purchased some pumpkins that didn't make their way to become a jack-o'-lantern. And so now, what are we thinking about? Pumpkins usually appear for jack-o'-lanterns this time of the year. And then again, maybe we have pumpkins appear again for Thanksgiving to make perhaps pumpkin pie. And historically, pumpkins were really a main staple of the Native American diet, along with corn and beans. Unfortunately, the nutrition benefits of pumpkin often are taken advantage of only because we're only using them around this time of the year. And we forget how nutrition rich they are. So let's talk about some ways that you can maybe sneak pumpkin into other places in your diet besides that pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. So pumpkin provides more than 200% of the recommended dietary allowance of vitamin A. So in just a half a cup, we get twice as much vitamin A that we need for the day. Now, vitamin A is really important for the health of our skin, and vitamin A is also important for our eye health. Pumpkin is also an important source of lutein, cryptoxanthin, and zeaxanthin. And these compounds are converted to vitamin A in the body and then are important for our eye health. And some of those compounds can only be found in certain foods, and there aren't too many sources. And pumpkin is one of the great sources to keep our eyes healthy. Pumpkin is also a good source of dietary fiber, vitamin C, vitamin K, iron, and manganese. And so these are all important minerals and vitamins that can help to keep us healthy. Pumpkin seeds, if you're interested in those, perhaps you save the pumpkin seeds as you were carving, which are found in the hollow center of the pumpkin, are a great source of protein, minerals, vitamins, and omega-3 fatty acids. And of course, the omega-3 fatty acids are those that are healthy for our heart specifically and also for our brain health. And so it can be another way to get those besides eating those fatty fish that we often talk about. So save those pumpkin seeds and then roast them for a tasty snack. So now let's look at some of those tips so you can incorporate more pumpkin into your diet. You could try canned pumpkin and put it in place of some of the oil or butter in recipes such as banana bread, any kind of quick bread. You can add pumpkin. Sometimes we've also talked about adding applesauce. It's kind of the same thing. So for half of the oil or butter that you might have in a recipe, you could put in pumpkin. You could also replace part of the fat in a brownie or a muffin recipe. You could also experiment with blended pumpkin in making a soup. You could also serve a savory or sweet pumpkin hummus as part of an appetizer or a snack, or make a pumpkin-based sauce to serve over pasta. A fun full flavor could be mixing pureed pumpkin into your next batch of chili, which would be something that the kids probably won't even recognize is there. You could create a pumpkin parfait by using canned pumpkin, vanilla yogurt, and a drizzle of honey and walnuts. And you could also blend pumpkin into mashed potatoes for an added fiber and nutrients. It would also give them a little bit different color. And then, of course, you can also mix up Saturday morning breakfast and make pumpkin pancakes or waffles. And we have a lot of these recipes on our NDSU Extension website, so go ahead. If some of those were some ideas you want to take a look at, we do have recipes that go along with that. And one recipe I want to share as we close, there's a recipe for pumpkin spice muffins, and it only has 2 ingredients. Use 1 box of spice cake mix and 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie mix. Mix them together and cook them bake them as muffins at 350 for 18 to 22 minutes. So an easy pumpkin treat and get all those great nutritional benefits. If you're looking for more pumpkin ideas, check out our Facebook page and our website, and we will see you in a couple weeks. And this is the close of the Extension Connection.